It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Sunday night edition of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our goal is to come to you each and every day, and today will be no exception to the rule. We have a special treat for you on this evening. Our scheduled guest will be right down the road for our first visitor of the day, athletic director of the Texas Southern Tigers, and that is none other than Kevin Granger. Second part of our visit for today will be from an old buddy of mine who's down in Tallahassee. In fact, he used to be the head women's basketball coach for the FAMU Rattlers, and that's none other than Mickey Clayton from Insights. We'll get a chance to talk with him. Of course, the latest and the greatest, FAMU is now on the countdown to becoming part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference in the physical realm. It's already been made in the spiritual realm with the approval of this week. We'll talk about that, of course, and talk about the potential impact that will bring to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. A whole lot to talk about and a short time to get it done. With all that being said, we might as well jump right into today's episode. Bring your greetings once again from the Open Mic Broadcast Network family. Exciting time to be a part of the SWAC. Exciting time to be alive. How about that? With everything that's going on, we know the pandemic that's been sweeping. We know the movement that's been sweeping and everything else that's been moving around and functioning. We know that Texas Southern and Prairie View are travel schools. And, of course, we'll talk to Kevin Granger about the impact that FAMU brings to the table when it comes to their addition to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. When we look at it, it makes sense for both sides. FAMU, of course, with the MEAC for the time that's remaining, the clock is ticking on that one. They were spending roughly $10.7 million on their athletic budget. And that's, give or take a little bit. And we came across some very interesting numbers that kind of went toward the decision of FAMU wanting to become part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. As we mentioned, they were spending about $10.7 million toward their athletic programming. That had them ranked about 7th in the conference when it comes to budgets. The average budget for the MEAC was in the neighborhood of $15 million per program. $15 million. And so with the FAMU Rattlers now becoming part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, it changed their status literally overnight. Literally overnight. As we may mention, we're going to break down some of these numbers here in just a second. With the entry of FAMU, I said 15, it was actually 11.5 million that the average budget for the MEAC. And we're going to give you some numbers that seemed a bit surprising, and we'll go through them later on. But real quickly, we'll give you a rundown of the budgets for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. The number one budget in the conference is Alabama State with $13.6 million. Prairie View A&M University, number two with $13.2 million. Texas Southern comes in at number three with a $12.3 million budget. Alabama A&M, number four, with an $11.7 million budget. FAMU, as we mentioned, comes in at number five now. Number six, well, we'll give you $10.7 million. Number six will be Southern University at $9.9 million. Number six will be Grambling State University at $9.1 million. Number seven has Arkansas Pine Bluff at $8.2 million. Number eight, Jackson State at $7.7 million. Number 9 is Alcorn at $7.1 million. Number 10 is Alcorn. Forgive me. Number 10 is Alcorn. Number 11 in the Southwestern Athletic Conference is Mississippi Valley State, and they're coming in at $4.1 million. The average budget for the Southwestern Athletic Conference is right at $9.8 million. Might as well say $10 million. So FAMU instantly comes in, and they're already in the upper echelon, if that makes any sense. We'll talk a little bit more about the budget breakdown, in particular that of Texas Southern. When we return, we're going to take a break right now. We'll have on the line with us none other than the athletic director himself, Mr. Granger. You listen to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and we will be right back.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history.
This is Courtney Gaucher, Director of Athletics at the Florida A&M University. And we are thrilled to be joining the SWAC, and we cannot wait to bring the incomparable Marching 100 to strike, and strike again in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Again, we look forward to it, and we are excited to be joining the best conference in college football.
Hello, this is Alonzo Hardy Jr., the president of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999, at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or luncheon where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Prophet Wackenmaster Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is swacalumuniassociation@yahoo.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. Of course, we are trying to stay ahead of the storm. And, you know, when we talk about that storm, it's the PV Martin storm. But then down the road, I think it's a lake or a pond, or it might be an ocean. I'm not sure. We're excited to have on board with us on this evening athletic director and Texas Southern legend himself, Coach Kevin Granger. How you doing tonight, sir?
Great. Thank you for having me, Mike. Thank you for having me. And it is called the ocean, you know, so it's not a lake. It's not a pond. It's called the ocean. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Well, you know what? We can't have it no other way now, can we, Coach?
Exactly.
Okay, look, all's fair in love and war, and it's open game and interviews and things of that nature. And we talking alumnus that are proud of their institutions, proud of this conference, former players. So I'm gonna let you. I told you during the break I wasn't gonna let you talk too bad about my Panthers in your playing day because you had some pretty good success. But I'm gonna give you your time to get your shots in. But do remember, Coach, now, I'm the one that owns the mic. So I'm always
I do understand. I do understand that. And you could be talking way after I hang the phone up, so I'm mindful of that.
Well, look, Coach, once again, we do thank you for coming to be a part of us. It's a lot to discuss. The last time you and I actually did an interview, you were just hiring your football coach at the time. And it's a lot has happened since then. The latest and the greatest, of course, FAMU has now become part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference as an administrator, athletic director, former player. There are so many different levels that you could approach this and take this on. How did it first impact you when you heard about this transition coming to pass?
Well, I thought it was great. Obviously, for the Southwestern Athletic Conference, it speaks volumes to where the conference and how the conference is viewed now. To have a school like Florida A&M University, as you said, looking or seeking to get membership into your conference, that says a lot about where we are at the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I think with the leadership that Dr. McClellan and his staff has displayed and is moving the conference forward. I don't think 4 or 5 years ago, FAMU would have been looking to join the SWAC. So it says a lot about where we're headed as a conference. It's definitely going to increase the rivalries within the conference. I think anytime you add a FAMU to your portfolio, then it definitely just excites your fan base and your rivalry is going to go up a notch.
Yes, sir. Now, well, I'm kind of like I guess a unique, quirky type dude, and I was looking at their budgets as they were coming in, and we know that the budgets are plus or minus by a couple of points, not to the penny, but close enough to add. They're coming in right now with the number 5, I guess, top upper tier budget that's being spent at $10.7 million. And according to the data that we have, your budget is at a 12.7. Is that close? I mean, 12.3. Is that close in the range of where you guys are budget wise?
Yeah, it's close. It's close. Last year we were right around the 10.8 or something like that for last year. But it's close. It's kind of fluctuate. Obviously it goes by how many students we have in attendance and things of that nature that attend the school. So it goes up and it's fluctuate from year to year, but it's close around that, being consistent around every year.
Okay. Now, with all of the latest and the greatest that's been going on with the virus and this, that, and everything, I know that Prairie View is talking about doing a 20% cut. Have you guys crossed that bridge yet, or are you going to try to hold it steady as long as you can?
Well, we're trying to hold it steady. I mean, obviously we've been good stewards, and that's what I explained to our coaching staff and our entire staff and faculty. We've been good stewardships of the funds that we had. We didn't get aggressive. Some of the things we had planned to do this summer, we had to obviously push those back. We had to make some adjustments to what we had planned to do. But the main thing for us was we didn't want to have layoffs, and we didn't want to have pay cuts for our staff, our faculty and staff. So, I mean, that's where our goals were at. We're steadfast on that mission. We're holding tight on that as of now. So for us, we haven't had to go back on that and start asking people, hey, your salary is going to be cut, because we're kind of, in a holding pattern, and we've been real smart about what we were spending. I teased the coaches on a Zoom call a few weeks ago. I was like, yeah, a lot of times when you were coming in my office, I was saying no. You better be glad I was saying no now, because if I had been saying yes, we would be in a different position than where we are at today.
Well, with that being said, and you being a good steward, some people like to call it cheap, but I choose the word, and I'll give you this one for free, Coach. It's being economically conscious. And when you become economically conscious, there are things that we try to break down from a need versus a want, and you try to provide everything that you need. What are some of the other things that you're looking at right now that's going to try to offset this storm? And I can't say that's coming, that we're right in the middle of.
Right. Well, what we're doing now is we're in the unknown. I'm just going to be honest, Mike. We're in totally unknown status. We don't even know if the sports are going to start on time at this point. We don't know if we're going to be allowed to have fans. I mean, this is a fluid situation. It's an ever-changing situation. So it's hard to say, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this, because as you know, 1 week is something, next week is totally different. So our goals and our mission is ever-changing. We have some things in place, but our main goal is just to try to see when we can get our student-athletes back on campus. We haven't got to that stage yet, or we're not prepared to even bring them back on campus yet. So for us, we're just still making adjustments. We're planning. We have essential personnel that'll start coming back to the campus on June the 14th. We're meeting with our doctors, our team physicians, and our training staff to see, hey, when it's going to be, best feasible for us to even return to the campus. So we just don't know at this point in time how economically challenging this situation is going to end up being for us.
We're speaking right now with Athletic Director Kevin Granger from Texas Southern. And when you're talking about these budgets and not sure what the future is going to hold, you guys just made an announcement this past week. You're changing out, or your volleyball coach, Adams, Joycelyn Adams, she resigned. Do you plan to try to fill that gap soon, or
yeah?
Okay.
Most definitely. Anytime you have a head coach opening, it's a need-based position, so we'll try to get it filled pretty quickly. We named Coach Floyd, who's been at Texas Southern, played at Texas Southern, and coached up under Dr. Fisher, then coached up under Coach Adams. So she's the interim head coach now there for us. So we feel good about, her being in the interim role since she have been a Tiger her whole entire life. But we're working steadfast. We have the committee already formed. So we're working steadfast to get the job up and posted. And I'm confident that we'll get it posted probably Monday or Tuesday. And then we'll begin to start getting applicants in. And then our goal is to have it filled by July 1.
Wow. That's moving.
Yes.
That is moving. Now, I don't want to have you put all your rabbits out of the hat. If you're moving that expeditiously, Coach, you have a coach or two already in mind then, huh?
I mean, we obviously, we're going to look at what's out there, what kind of pool we get, and then the committee will obviously, narrow it down to top three, and they'll do some interviews, some virtual interviews with those top three. And then they'll send a recommendation up to me. My charge to them was, let's move fast, because you got to think, my volleyball season, if we're in line and starting on time, volleyball season starts the 1st of August. They can come in the 1st of August and get prepared for camp, like volleyball, football, and soccer. They reports way before school starts. So we got to have somebody in place soon so our student athletes know the direction we're going, and they're comfortable with who we have in place.
Absolutely. Now, with you get that late notice, or at least from outside looking in, like a late notice that you're going to have a coaching change, does that concern you about player retention and the APR factor?
Not at all. Not at all. We were not concerned at all at this point with it. I think it was a great timing. I think everybody else might look at it and say, "Oh, it was bad timing." For us, it was, great timing to make the change. Coach Adams has done a fantastic job laying the foundation for the program. Our APR is real high in volleyball. We have no concerns with APR. And thankfully, we named Coach Floyd as interim. She was there in an intricate part of every recruit that was signed. And, the players that are there, all of them feel real comfortable with her. So we don't expect any downfall as a result of making the change.
Okay, very good. Now, me being an old baseball guy, and I really admire the work that your baseball and softball program has been able to achieve, and I might add with consistency. And what has been a phenomenon, at least for me, and I'm not really sure that most people that maybe glance at the games of baseball and softball, you guys are doing this without actual facilities. And how in the heck are you guys able to keep that going, man?
Hey, I asked the same question myself. I'm going to just be honest. I asked the same question, and it goes to show you the tremendous work that Coach Barker, who's the head softball coach, and Coach Robertson is doing. I mean, let's just be honest. Their hats off to them for being able to do an outstanding job and get the right athletes in that understand our situation. As you said, we don't have a softball or baseball facility. Thankfully, baseball is real close. They're in McGregor, so it feels like it's our home, although it's not our home because, McGregor, where they play at, is not too far from the campus. Softball, obviously, is a little in Memorial. They play, so that's a little further away from the campus, so it truly don't feel like our home. But what we're trying to do now, we're trying to address those needs. We're trying to obviously start concentrating on some things we got to do in-house facility-wise. We're looking at trying to, we have some drawings and things for a new athletic learning facility where it can be locker rooms for the sports that don't have one, such as baseball, softball, and things of that nature. There'll be a multi-purpose weight room. It'll be classrooms and things of that nature. So we do recognize that we are lacking in some areas when it comes to, facilities, but we're trying to start addressing those areas and get those up to par as well.
Okay, so these drawings, if you had to throw a projected date, if you had all the cosmos stars to line up properly, how long do you think it would be before you could actually see it in real time?
Well, we were looking at before the pandemic hit. I was pushing. I had been in discussion with, our presidents, our board members, and all of them were on board. We were looking at trying to get that project started at the beginning of school year. Obviously, we have to push things back, as I alluded to earlier. Some of the plans that we had, we had to put on hold. So I'm hoping we can get through this pandemic and get everything back to normal. And obviously, if we can't start it at the beginning of school year 2020, we definitely have to start at the beginning of 2021.
Okay, and we got to address, I guess they say, the big boy. Football had a struggle, and
right.
You got Coach McKinney, and we call him the good son, returning home. And
right.
When you look at it, once again, outside looking in, and I know it's hard not to panic, but is there a little sense of panic with the way things have been developing, or is it the calm before the storm?
Yeah, it's a calm. Obviously, it's a calm before the storm for us because we can actually see things that are transpiring. Last year was a unusual year for us. We didn't have any depth. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. So when we started taking some injuries, we just didn't have the personnel behind it to be able to sustain it. I mean, we had a lot of people. We had about 17 people that had injury that coach had depended on at the beginning of the year that were out and couldn't perform and couldn't play for him. So when you take all of that in consideration, with the injuries and the things of that nature, if you look at it offensively, on the offense side, we moved the ball. I mean, we ranked right there in the top on the offense side. Obviously, depth came in to having numerous defensive players that, have some injuries. So we feel pretty comfortable this year with adding the depth and addressing those issues that we had. We feel comfortable that this year if we can put a defense, with the offense that we had, we could be, win some of those games. Because a lot of those games, Mike, if you go back and look at, we were right there. I mean, all the way up until the end. I think we lost to Southern at the end of the game when we were marching the ball down the field and probably got within the 10-yard line, and the guy threw the interception. I mean, Southern players were able to intercept the ball. If you look at our homecoming, we lost at a field goal at the end of the game. If you go to Alabama A&M, we took them to overtime and lost by, a field goal. So it's multiple games that we were right there in football. And we feel that, if we able to make some adjustments and add some depth and kind of clean up a couple things on the defense side of the ball, that we'll be right there this year.
Okay. Now, Coach, I've been playing devil's advocate. Of course, the Labor Day Classic is synonymous in the Houston area with Prairie View, Texas Southern. And it seems like past 4 or 5 years, there's been an omen, whether it's weather or something going on, that has thrown this thing off. Do you think that if that game not moved to November, because I think it's obvious it's worse money-wise at the gate if we moved it to November, but could you imagine if that game would be either team's homecoming opponent? Do you see that as something that could possibly work?
Well, unfortunately for us, the SWAC makes the schedule when it comes to SWAC games. So I think, as you said, for November time frame, it puts us in a bad situation. I think they tried it 1 year and moved the game to November. And obviously by that time, our fans from both schools know who's in it and who's not. And when you're talking about Prairie View A&M and Texas Southern University, they tend to come out more or in waves when the game means something. So I think it works better for us to always keep it on the front end, because now everybody's excited. Everybody's looking for bragging rights. Everybody's trying to come out and see, because at that time, both of us are 0-0. So it's a lot riding on that game by being the first game of the season. I think when you get to November, one of us or maybe even both of us are out of contention. So it takes away from the magnitude of the game, because to a lot of fans, you're not playing for anything at that point. So who cares who wins at that point? So we want to keep it as a great festive atmosphere. Now, like you said, if we were playing each other for homecoming, I couldn't imagine that, because it would probably be too crazy.
But it would still be a game. It'll still be a game of significance at that season, and that could actually be your make or break game. And I'm just looking at ways to stimulate the pageantry, if you would, because we instantly hear with the addition of FAMU, the pageantry and the rivalries between the Southerns, the Grambling, the Jackson States, the Alabama States. And it's going to be a little bit longer distance, being the Texas schools, and a way to initiate some new rivals, if you would, even though there is a bit of history with Texas Southern and FAMU from earlier times, but not as recent times. How do you plan to try to cultivate that particular matchup with the FAMU Rattlers?
Well, as you said, there's already some history there between our two universities. So I think we got to bring up that history and let people be aware of it. Most people are not as, historical as you. They don't even remember Texas Southern and Florida A&M even having a rivalry with each other. But we want to highlight on that fact. I think most people do understand, and they consider Florida A&M University to be one of the top HBCUs out here. So we want to draw on those things and just add to the game, add to the rivalry. And to be honest, most of us always want to see the unknown. Nobody has been able to see Florida A&M University in the conference, so the expectations are different. So everybody loves to come out and watch the new opponent. All right, what do they have? What they band have, and things of that nature. How is it going to be? So I think our fan base would be energized by it, just because it's somebody new that they respect and they done heard a lot about. So now we get an opportunity to match up against them. I think it's just going to only add to the success, and hopefully we can add our fan base and add their fan base and bring both of them together and have a great matchup.
Yes, sir. It should be a very exciting time. Now, one thing that's going to look like a home game for them when they come to BBVA, man, with those orange seats, that'll match their color scheme, man. So we might have to make sure you got enough maroon and gray around there to drown some of that out.
I know. Hey, they come to us, they're going to think it's their stadium.
Right.
I'll never forget, we played Sam Houston at BBVA one time, which is now Compass Stadium. We played them at a home game, and it looked like it was their home game instead of ours, because Sam Houston is the orange, so it ended up being their home game because the stadium just fit right along with them. But I always tell people this: if enough people in that maroon shirt are sitting down in them stands, you can't see the orange.
I know that's right.
So it won't matter if what color they have, because if it's a sea of maroon, you can't even see the orange. So that's the reason why we always encourage our fan base. Let's not get caught up in the color of the seats. Because if everybody come out and we fill in the stadium up on a consistent basis, we're going to flood the whole stadium with maroon, so it's going to look like a maroon stadium anyway.
There you go, a maroon wave to help accommodate the ocean of soul. How about that?
Correct. There you go.
All right. Now, look, Coach, I got two more quick questions for you. With FAMU, of course, it brings an off-balance 11 teams in the conference. Would you still be okay with having an East and a West, or would you prefer to dissolve East and West and just have one conference and the top two teams play for a championship?
Great question. Is one of the questions I brought up on the call when we were first getting ready to vote on, FAMU coming to to the conference. It was my question of how much of adding FAMU is it going to do to the Texas schools budget? Obviously, we're the furthest one away, and we already have a far away trip when you're talking about going to the Alabama schools. And now if you add a Florida school to the Texas schools, then now we got, another far away trip. So Dr. McClellan and his staff have said they're looking at different models, but they assured me that it would remain East and West. So Texas schools won't have to go down there, and play those schools all the time. You'll kind of play with your East and West, and you'll play with your division. I think that's economically make more sense for us, especially being in Texas, because if we got to make all those long trips, and when you're talking about all of our sports, now we're going to have to significantly increase the Texas schools' budget. And as you know, money at this time is just not easy to raise and add money to budget. So that was one of my concerns that I'd address, but they assured me that it wouldn't be a case where adding Florida A&M would be a bigger burden on our budget.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, Coach, we're going to end this last question in a little game, and I'm going to call it the identification game. And so when I call out the institution, you can only call out one sport that connects you to that institution that we call out. Is that fair enough?
That's fair enough.
All right. Grambling State University.
Football.
Jackson State University.
Golf.
Southern University.
Football.
Alabama State.
Track and field.
Okay. Alabama A&M.
Soccer.
Okay. Alcorn.
Football, no question.
Okay. Mississippi Valley.
I would have to say, back when I played, if I'm going back on I don't have to explain it, basketball. I used to love the Strips and Alfonso Ford, them and all of those people. So
Okay. Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
I would say football.
Prairie View A&M University.
I don't even have to answer that one, do I?
Well, just for the sake of pleasing me.
Okay, all right. Just for the sake of it, I say what the sport nobody comes to. All right, nobody, they don't have fans at this sport. No, I'm just joking. I say Prairie View volleyball.
Volleyball, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Texas Southern University.
Basketball. You should have already penciled that.
Well, I got to give you a chance to answer all of them, man. I just hope I didn't forget anybody in the midst of the name of this. I ain't no spring chicken no more, man, so I got to remember them as I come across the top of my head. And since we got FAMU in the mix now, FAMU Rattlers.
I would say football. I mean, that's probably, they're a predominant sport, and that's what they get the most attention at, so I would say football. And I know I threw you off volleyball with Prairie View, but I remember Coach Pete winning some championships down there in volleyball. So that's the reason why I threw volleyball out with Prairie View.
Okay, no problem. Hey, man, those are your choices. You don't have to explain it to me, Coach. You are.
Yeah. No, you Prairie View guys. So I want to make sure because I know what you said. Volleyball, they ain't got no volleyball. I know how that goes.
Hey, man, I had nothing to say about nothing, but I do, Coach. I thank you so much for joining us on tonight. I want to give you an opportunity to have some closing thoughts and comments, and the floor is now yours, sir.
All right. Thank you again for having me on. This is a trying time, not just for Texas Southern University, but all of the HBCUs around the country. Want everybody just to stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart. I mean, a lot of people are bringing a lot of athletes back now, and a lot of them are testing positive for the virus. So we got to make sure we stay safe and keep these athletes first and foremost with all the decisions that we are making. I know everybody ready to get athletics and started and moving again, but we want to be safe and sound and make sure we keep our student athletes healthy.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us, man. Don't be a stranger, my friend. Know you always got a place here. And look, and you didn't talk too bad tonight about my Panthers, so we'll keep the door open for you.
That the Panthers have never beat me when I played basketball. I won't even say that.
Did
I just mention
you
that?
did
Okay,
just mention that, but we do have back-to-back championships under your watch.
You all do. Ain't no question. Ain't no question y'all do. Hey, and I'm on my coach now saying, hey, they're doing a little too much down there now. We got to figure out how to stop this.
Oh, Coach, thank you so much, man. You have a blessed evening, man, and we'll talk to you real soon, all right?
Thank you again, Mike Pat.
All right. That was Coach Kevin Granger, athletic director for the Texas Southern Tigers. We're going to take us a break, and we'll get Mickey Clayton on the line with us when we come back. You're listening to the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it where you got it, and we'll be right back. The Open Mic Broadcast Network is an independent network that is dedicated to local community programming featuring sports, the gospel, community news, and much, much more. It is our endeavor to keep the community informed, enlightened, encouraged, and entertained. Our continued existence is solely predicated on those who donate toward our cause. The opportunity to give is a very simple process. You can visit our Open Mic Broadcast Network site at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button and become a supporter today. For those of you who would prefer to send in a donation, make all checks payable to Open Mic Broadcast Network, OPEN, capital MIC, Broadcast Network, P.O. Box 891, Prairie View, Texas, 77446. Thank you for your support. Thank you for spreading the word of the Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics since 2002. We'd like to recognize sponsors. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. Their phone number is 979-826-8008. Diva Skin Conditioner, located at divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Their phone number, 903-270-0026. Prairie View Athletic Club, serving student athletes since 1986. Their phone number is 936-857-5817. Temple of Refuge Ministries, located in Prairie View, Texas, at 45372 Old Highway 290. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, several locations to serve you. Katy, Rosenberg, Brenham, Bryan, College Station, and Waller, Texas. Their phone numbers, toll-free, 855-391-2149. If you or your business would like to be a part of the sponsorship team here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, contact us at 832-213-8824.
This is Rob Butler with your Southland Report. Let me start with a quote from Marino Kasem, the former coach at Alcorn State University. Kasem said this: "In the East, college football is a cultural exercise. On the West Coast, it is a tourist attraction. In the Midwest, it is cannibalism, but in the South, it is religion, and Saturday is the holy day. When I stated the other day that the Southland Conference was the SEC of FCS, I was referring to the geographical footprint. You got teams in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. We are in the South Central United States. The Southland was actually a charter member of Division 1A, which is FCS. Division I split for football in 1978. It moved to the FCS ranks, or 1AA, in 1982, where, of course, it's remained to this day. Now, as for national championships, well, there's not much to compare to the SEC. Northeast Louisiana, now Louisiana Monroe, won the 1987 Division I AA national title. McNeese State also played in the 1997 1AA national championship game, and Stephen F. Austin played in the 1989 title game, one of 4 playoff runs for the Lumberjacks. Northwestern State has made 6 playoff runs and advanced to the semifinals in 1998. But if I were to label an Alabama of the conference, I'd have to go with Sam Houston State, even though they haven't won a national championship. Their postseason success speaks for itself. They've appeared in the 1AA FCS playoffs 11 times with an overall record of 19-11. In 2011, they made it to the national championship game, losing to North Dakota State 17-6. Now, in 2012, they returned to the title game in Frisco, losing to the Bison again by a score of 39-13. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Sam Houston State would have to be the most likely candidate from the Southland Conference to win national championships. Now, to do that, they'll have to get past either North Dakota State or James Madison. Of course, this is purely hypothetical, but that's why we love football, and hopefully we'll find out this fall. That's Rob Butler, Open Mic Broadcast Network. This is Rob Butler with your...
As a dad, you'll probably spend years teaching your son how to hit a baseball, how to throw a tight spiral and hit a receiver, how to spring off a diving board and hit the water, how to hit a 1-wood and a 9-iron, how to hit the bullseye, how to hit the strike zone, hit a jump shot, hit the open man, hit the hockey net, and maybe the most challenging of all, how to hit the books. But the question is this: how much time will you spend teaching him what not to hit? Teach your son early and often that all violence against women is wrong. For tips on what to say, visit endabuse.org. Brought to you by the Family Violence Prevention Fund, the Waite Institute for Violence Prevention, the Ad Council, and this station.
And welcome back to the Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. Mike Prince, of course, here with you. We want to thank our guest on the first half of the show, and that was Athletic Director Kevin Granger from the Texas Southern Tigers. Full of energy, full of good spirit, and very pleasant interview. We do have a little snafu, and that's what happens when you go live from time to time. Our second scheduled guest, Coach Mickey Clayton, we're not able to make the connection with him, but all is well, and the show must go on. When we talk about some of the recapping of what we went over with Coach Granger, Coach Granger was able to bring to light some things sitting at the table, of course, the additional cost that it's going to bring to the Texas schools. Of course, we're talking about Texas Southern and Prairie View A&M University. With that, you have some additional costs as mentioned, but some would say, well, you only have to make that travel when it comes to football every other year. But as you heard Coach Granger talk about the other sports that'll be involved, when you look at the basketball tournament now, not tournament, but this regular season, you might have to go up to 20 games now, playing the home and home patterns the way you do it. So it's going to bring and create some out-the-box thinking, some readjusting, but it's a good problem to have. So you don't have to worry too much about what could and what could go wrong. I can guarantee you there are more goods that can come out of this than the bads. And so it's going to be exciting to see and experience how this thing comes off the ground from beginning to end with the addition of FAMU. How do you think FAMU will rank coming into the first season of action in the Southwestern Athletic Conference? I know when you listen to them, they're coming in with confidence. They're coming in loaded. They're coming in oozing, saying that we're not just coming here to be a part. We're going to come to do a hostile takeover. And can you imagine the likes of a shotgun Willie Simmons and a KJ Black coming back to the Southwestern Athletic Conference and having major success right out the gate? We wouldn't be able to tell them anything. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how these guys fare out and how they come out the gate. I don't know if you were able to hear Courtney Gaucher. I'll let you listen to him real quick, and you tell me, does this sound like a guy who's walking in doubt?
This is Courtney Gaucher, Director of Athletics at the Florida A&M University. And we are thrilled to be joining the SWAC, and we cannot wait to bring the incomparable Marching 100 to strike, and strike again in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Again, we look forward to it, and we are excited to be joining the best conference in college football.
Sound like a man full of confidence to me, does it not? And we do thank him. He called in actually on our message line, which is available 24 hours a day, 713-570-6736, and left those kind greetings, if you would, to the Southwestern Athletic Conference and the Open Mic Broadcast Network family. Very, very interesting. As we went back and we talked about these budgets earlier, and of course, when you look at the upper echelon as far as the budgets go, Alabama State, Prairie View, Texas Southern, Alabama A&M, all of them over the $11 million mark. Would it be safe to assume that these programs may be slightly underachieving? When you compare, and let's just keep it on the football spectrum, Alcorn has the number 10 budget at $7.1 million, but I think it'll be safe to agree, regardless of which SWAC team you root for, they've been the most consistent, I won't say dominant, but they've been the most consistent football program for almost a decade now. Then you look at the far gap between that of Mississippi Valley and that of Alabama State. $13.6 million compared to $4.1 million. That is a huge contrast. And it makes you tip your cap even more to the work that Vincent Dancy is able to achieve to keep these guys somewhat competitive. But let's be honest, let's be real. Some things are going to have to get figured out in Mississippi Valley. $4.1 million, that, and I'm not coming down on Mississippi Valley, you have high school budgets that are greater than that. And I know that student enrollment is a contributing factor for a lot of these things, but you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to think outside the box and do some things. Yes, I know it's going to be even tighter now with the pandemic that's going on, but $4.1 million, I couldn't believe that when I saw that. It made me really, really scratch my head. That's huge. And now when you talk about the travel and all of this, and when we talk about these guarantee games, there's definitely going to be a restructure of how football in particular is going to have to generate funding. You're going to have to start playing some regional games and some pushing for your home games. One thing about adding FAMU it almost, well, it shouldn't, but it does, but it almost guarantees a fifth home game for the season. And so a lot of the times we spend efforts trying to figure out who travels well, who brings a good crowd. We're going to have to now dig a little bit deeper and make these home games like mini homecomings to draw the people out. And I think one of the greater lures for that is to be able to have games that, A, people want to come see, and then, B, a game that your fan base will feel that you'll be competitive in. So that's going to be the balancing act, and you have to push these things. We do a phenomenal job across the board pushing homecoming events. It actually sells itself. But the same effort that is put toward doing homecoming, we have to do that for every home game. For every home game. And we have to make sure that the message is heard loud and proud that we have games on this date, and don't wait till the week of to try to promote it. Promote that thing. When you set your schedule, promote that thing 6 months out. Build those themes around it and do a countdown, if you would, of every game leading to your next season. Just a little, as they say, hint and suggestion, not that you asked for it, but I'm going to give it anyway. We're going to take us a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about the latest and the greatest movements on the athletic director search at Prairie View A&M University. You listen to the Mike Prince Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and we'll be right back. It's the Open Mic Tele-Network line. Dial 720-721-1558, and instantly at your fingertips, you'll have the latest local news, weather, and sports. Need a word of encouragement? Dial 720-721-1558. The Open Mic Tele-Network line features weekly prayer, verse of the week, and local ministries at your fingertips. Everything you need on demand. Dial 720-721-1558. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No internet? No problem. No Wi-Fi? No problem. No app? No problem. All you need to do is dial 720-721-1558 to listen now.
Be the one with courage to fight child abuse.
All Texans must find the courage to fight child abuse.
Learn the signs and symptoms and report suspected abuse to appropriate authorities.
Learn and know these warning signs.
A child who undergoes changes in behavior, appetite, or routine.
Watch for unexplained injuries, a change in academic performance, or loss of interest by a child in regular activities.
Trust your instincts. If you suspect something, do something.
If you believe a child is in an abusive situation, please call the Texas Abuse Hotline at 1-800-252-5400.
Be the one with courage. To find your local Children's Advocacy Center, visit onewithcourage.org.
On behalf of children, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Sunday Night Live edition. We've caught him, guys. We've caught him. We had a little snafu with the time we have left. We're going to present to some and introduce to others former women's basketball coach at FAMU over Insights. He'll talk about that in just a moment. Welcome back, my friend, Brother Mickey Clayton. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I'm excited about coming to the SWAC.
Yeah, coming to the SWAC. Look at here, man. When we first crossed paths, you were my MEAC FAMU basketball connection. Now we're going to be brothers rubbing elbows. How does that sound?
Man, that's good. We're just glad to be able to be in the SWAC and know that every game got to be our A game.
Yes, sir. Every game got to be the A game. Now, I know we're going to be pressed for time. We're going to have to reschedule you to get back in. I understand it's storming real bad your way. So bring people up to speed of who Mickey Clayton is, man, and some of the insights that play on words of your programming that you'll bring to the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
I actually started the women's basketball program at Florida A&M and real familiar with Pat Bibb when she was over there with Grambling, and she would come over to our tournament and play Alcorn. And, that was back in the early days when, the black colleges, if you went out and did your homework, you could get some good talent and roll through some people pretty good. We actually also coached the men's basketball team, winning the MEAC championship and advancing to the NCAA tournament, playing Duke in the first round of the tournament in Charlotte. So I'm actually the only Division I coach to win a championship in Division I men's basketball and Division I women's basketball. And now I'm retired and have a show called Insights that you can find everywhere. INSIIGHTS, 2 hours in the middle. We cover high school sports from Central Georgia down to Central Florida. We do a game of the week and have been on network television 4 years running now. And so we still keep our pulse on what's going on in black college sports. Being a former Rattler coach, third or fourth generation Rattler, so I got Rattlers in my blood. You got orange and green coming in and going.
With that strike all over. I've been hearing that from Courtney Gaucher, the new athletic director who came on board in December. Do you or have you had the opportunity of meeting with Brother Gaucher?
I have, and we actually have had him on our show, and we got another show scheduled up with him in another week or two, and I have talked to him and really excited about some of the things and his vision that he saw, which is actually some of the things we discovered when I was in athletic administration in 2014 about, if nothing else, just the cost that we save in terms of being a part of the SWAC in terms of travel for all our teams, and even more, the rivalries that we all grew up with. The SWAC opponent, those are the rivalries that we grew up with Jake and the legendary coaches in the SWAC. And I was assistant AD, and we played Alabama State home. It was 4 or 5 seasons ago, maybe a little more than that. And we drew more for that game than we did for homecoming. So just the fact that we have those rivalries now back, just every year, A&M playing Southern, every year playing Grambling, every year playing Alabama State, not just in football, but in our other sports. They don't have to travel as far. Our people want to know the schedule and when they go to certain places so they can go too.
Well, I do understand. I do. It's an exciting time. But you know what? We're pressed for time, and I want to get you, man, where you can be heard loud and clear. We're having a little static in your line. So we'll get together this week, and we'll do a pre-recording that we'll get it out because you got a lot to share and a lot to bring to the table, and I don't want to cheapen our listeners' opportunity to hear what you have to say because it is definitely worth hearing. But I do thank you for that we were able to make some type of ground on tonight. And you know how it goes when you're going live, man. Anything can happen. And maybe my gerbils got tired when they tried to connect with your gerbils on the phone line, but we'll make sure we got a better connection on the next time. Is that all right, my friend?
Well, I appreciate it. I'm available for you whenever you need me. All you got to do is holler, and I'll answer. There you go. There you go.
All right, Coach. We'll talk real soon, okay? Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you too. That was...
And strike doggone it again.
Oh, there you go. He gonna get it. We're gonna get a lot of that, folks. So we got to, I guess, brace ourselves or just shut them up when it counts on the diamonds and on the field. Hey, thanks a lot, Coach, and we'll be talking real soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye, my brother.
All right. That was Coach Mickey Clayton, former basketball coach on the men and women's side of FAMU. It's going to get heated and contested, ladies and gentlemen, and we've only just begun. And that's just the way it is. You add excitement, add new people, and big things happen. And speaking of big things happening, we are going to have to start making our exit stage left for right now. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I want to thank our guest on this evening, of course, Athletic Director Kevin Granger. Fun talking with him. And you can hear that it's going to be fun talking with Mickey Clayton. We'll get him scheduled for later on this week that we can get a clear audio. They're dealing with some storming situations in Tallahassee area. I've got to slide to the left and get up out of here. We want to thank our sponsors, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Farmers Insurance of Hempstead, Texas, Prairie View Athletic Club, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Diva Skin Conditioner, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, and we want to thank you, the listeners. Don't forget to join us Monday through Friday right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You can also check us out on YouTube at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget our 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. And we also have our on-demand 24-hour message line, 720-721-1558. I'm out of time. I've got to go. I'm the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.